The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Chopping up Dolly Vision, streaming real. True crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Chats on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing? Shadows crawl. People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shining, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light. Chopping up Dolly Vision, streaming real. True crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Chats on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing? Shadows crawl. People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shining, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light.
What up, YouTube? It is Dolly back in the house again tonight. And tonight, we're talking the Jack and Lilly Sullivan case, missing Pictou County, Nova Scotia, Canada, going on 3 weeks without a sign of these kids. And you know what I got to say about that? Where's the babies? Where's the babies? That is what everybody in true crime wants to know right now, is what happened to these kids. You know, we've seen kids disappear, but it's very rare that 2 kids vanish without a trace and don't appear to be in the woods that they allegedly went missing in. Okay, before we get into that, I need a favor from each and every one of you guys watching right now. I need you to leave your DNA on the like button. I don't care if you headbutt it, elbow smash it, if it backs into you at 24 miles an hour, I'm going to need your DNA on file. So make sure you hit the like button. And if you're brand new and this is your first time tuning into our channel, I'm Dolly. How you doing? Make sure you sub up. We're like 130 people from hitting 65,000. And you can help me get there tonight. Okay, you guys can help me get there by subbing up, ringing the bell, or if you're watching, share this video. Okay, share my ugly face on any social media platform that you choose, as long as it's not Pornhub. Okay, they don't have an ugly category that kind of fits this face, so just anywhere else but there. Okay, so you know these kids have been missing for going on 3 weeks. The police say, this is what they say to us, that they don't have any signs searching these woods that the kids were there. Now, things have been found, and when they're found, they're giving them to the mother and the stepfather to say if they are theirs or not. And everything that they have showed the parents have came back and said, no, that don't belong to our kids. Okay, which in this case, there has been a lot of huge red flags. Pretty shocking that there's been no arrests made. I mean, that pretty much blows my mind at this point, especially after the second search, nothing found in these woods. It's pretty much heartbreaking. It don't sound like these kids went into the woods. The police were there within 30 minutes of these children allegedly going missing. Now, that is if the timeline is right, and these kids went missing around 10 a.m. on Friday. A lot of people are speculating, thinking these kids went missing days earlier, and the parents came up with a story, scripted it, went out, gave, called the police, told them the kids went missing Friday morning. And they pretty much gave almost the same interviews to the press. The mother, the kids would talk to anybody. They would go off with anybody. The stepfather, or, the mom's boyfriend, they're not married. The mom's boyfriend basically said the same thing. Oh, they're friendly kids. They'll talk to anybody. They would get in cars with strangers. Well, they make themselves out to be good parents, but that is not good parenting when your kids would get in the car with anybody. Wanda says, Dolly, you're not ugly. Thank you, Wanda. I just say that as a joke. I've seen uglier, okay? So, a lot of red flags in this situation. Now, I got to take a little look at a live video of what the woods look like in Pictou County. And let me tell you, it is pretty thick and would be pretty hard to search for somebody in these woods surrounding their house. So what I want to do tonight is give you guys a little look. I see 267 razzle dazzles on that like button. Yeah, definitely, guys. There's 600 of you in here. Make sure you razzle dazzle that like button, okay? Attack it, headbutt it, elbow smash it, drop kick it. Just don't lick it, okay? Just don't lick the like button. You can do anything else you want. So I want to share this video so you guys can see what the terrain and what the area in the woods look like that the police are searching, okay? So, we know it's woods. We know it's kind of thick, but we've had a good look at the house and the trash in the yard. And I mean, it looks like a technical shot waiting to happen, okay? Like it don't look fit for kids to really be playing in. There's old just ovens and all kinds of shit just in the yard. It looks a little rickety and not well taken care of. Now, we don't know what inside the house looks like, but, the police, I'm thinking at this point, and this is just my opinion. Let me give my warnings real quick. Dolly Vision's for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories, mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. So don't take nothing here as fact. It's just my opinion, people. Completely satire. Callers' opinions tonight are theirs and theirs alone. Thank you for subbing up. We're on that road to 65,000 tonight. Also, everyone is innocent to proven guilty in the court of law. And that means Daniel and malehya, even though they are super suspects right now. My number one suspects in this case, to be honest. And also, the biggest one of them all. Okay? Don't try to be Dolly at home. You can end up a DoorDash driver. I've seen it happen. The last person to try to be me, they're dashing and crashing right now, about to go to jail. Life sucks. Whole YouTube channel crumbled. Okay? They're trying to be a 50-year-old rapper. You don't need that in your life, so just don't try to be Dolly at home. You could wake up a Keebler elf, pointed ears and all, living in a tree. Hello, Huntress. Good to see you. And you don't need it. You don't need it. So let's share this video so you can get a little look at the surroundings, how thick the woods are, and what the police are actually dealing with when they go into these woods.
Kiddo! 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 Can you hear me? Kids!
And you can see how thick it is getting through it. Most bus drivers do have video cams on the bus. They haven't released that. You can still hear the helicopters flying around looking for the kids. But you can see all the downed trees from the storms they had, in which they were talking about that hurricane that had came through.
Kiddo!
Yeah, the RCMP won't release the bus video. Look how thick it is. You can't even get through it. It's so thick. And if the kids were walking through this, they would be like, their clothes would get ripped. You would be able to see signs of the kids.
God.
Broken branches, things like that. And we're not really seeing that. And you can see where the searchers have tied things that they've searched the area.
My fucking God. Where's the fucking kid? I'm lost.
It's so thick that this guy's actually lost in the woods. That's how thick it is. You know, when you get in the woods, you get to turning and looking around, all these trees and stuff look the same. So it's easy to get confused and lost. That's why, you know, the police don't want just anybody out there searching, because you could easily be the next one they're searching for. You could get lost, get hurt. There's wild animals out there. There's, you know, things you can fall in, coverts. There's rocks and, you know, a lot of twisted ankles, things like that. But the police, like I said, do not believe these kids went through this. Got to be wolves, bears out there. Yes, absolutely. Someone definitely knows something. That is for sure. And I'm going to pause this for 1 second. You know, I believe the four main suspects in this case, of course, Daniel, malehya, Daniel's mother, and his brother. Now, a lot of people have been, you know, a lot of people have been hitting me up about the four-wheeler, how clean the four-wheeler is. And at this point, you know, with the police not, you know, having very much transparency, we don't know if cadaver dogs have been in the house, around the house, in their vehicles. You know, it looked like they had older vehicles, so most likely those vehicles don't have a black box. It ain't like the newer cars that you can go in, take the black box, and look and see where the vehicles have been. They look like they drive older vehicles, nothing really nice, nothing new. Huntress says, Mom gives me major Leilani vibes. Absolutely, Huntress. I agree with you. When the mother packed up and left and she showed no emotion, even Leilani Simon would fake cry. This woman don't even fake cry. She talks about her kids and in past tense and like it's just another day. And, you know, usually it takes people years after something traumatic like this happens to where they can even talk about it normally. And she talks about it like it happened 5 years ago when it just happened, you know, just a couple weeks ago. And to not be screaming from the rooftops about your kid and more worried about her relationship status on Facebook and things like that than the children, it's major red flags in this case, guys. Major red flags. And it's shocking, right, to me that they ain't putting more pressure on this family. Now, we know they interviewed 35 people, hours of interviewing people, the neighbors, the bus drivers, school teachers, family members, but still we're in the same place we were 3 weeks ago, and a lot of people in Canada are saying that, yes, it's getting attention in Nova Scotia and like Prince Edward Island in the smaller communities around Canada, but not in the bigger provinces. Seems not to be a big deal. And you would think here in the States, 2 missing kids under the age of 10 years old, no signs of them being abducted and them just vanishing would be huge news. Look how big news Sebastian Rogers is, 15 years old when he went missing, 16 years old right now. National news. You got Court TV, Nancy Grace, America's Most Wanted, talking about it. But you would think this would be even a bigger deal than that, because these kids are under the age of 10, 4 and 6 years old, vanished without a trace under weird circumstances. And Canada is not giving this the attention that it needs. So many Canadians have come in the comment boxes and been thanking me for covering this case. And I would do it for anybody, anywhere. No need to thank me. But we want to make
Jumped
sure.
on the dolly train, anyone with me? Steam locomotive emoji.
Sage,
Steam locomotive emoji.
welcome to the Blessed Express. Make sure you buckle up. The train ride could get bumpy, and that is a good way to keep Dolly alive. And thank you to Vincent. He donated before we even started the show, right? He said he wanted him a window seat. He wanted to make sure the train didn't sell out, and he got him a seat right off the bat. So thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Sage. Thank you for everybody that's been liking the videos, keeping Dolly alive by donating. Okay, I got to eat too. Okay, I got to eat too. So thank you guys. Y'all are absolutely the best. Now we want answers for these kids. So it's important that we keep the pressure, YouTube talking about these cases, especially if the media in Canada is not giving it the coverage that they should, that, you know, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, they're not really coming out and giving, thank you for becoming a member for 3 months, Teresa. Thank you so much. They're not giving it the attention that it deserves. This case right here should be plastered all over the media, all over the news, because there is the possibility, with them not ruling out abduction, that these kids could have been kidnapped and they could easily be in the United States. You know, the U.S. news really is not covering this, right? And listen, I always thought Canadians were our brothers and sisters, right? We're part of North America. I didn't even know Canada had borders till I tried to get in, right? I thought Canada was part of America, damn it. I thought the only people we had a problem with was the Mexican border, right? And they can just walk in, but you can't just go into Canada. In Canada, y'all just can't come here. I don't understand that. We need to tear that wall down like Pink Floyd, okay? We need to bring that wall down, because, you know, we're neighbors, we're brothers and sisters. It ain't like we're enemies. So there shouldn't be none of this, hey, you can't come here, you can't come there stuff. And with these kids being possibility of being abducted, these kids could surely be in America. Somebody could have crossed the border with these kids, got out of Canada. I hear there's some places you can cross without a passport. There's not even guards or anything like that. There's a lot of smuggling routes in Canada.
The breeze in the open long car. I love me a train ride. Sparkling heart emoji. Sparkling heart emoji. Sparkling heart emoji. Sparkling heart emoji. Sparkling heart emoji.
It's a lot of heart emojis.
Sparkling heart emoji.
Okay, guys, remember, we're on it where it reads the super chats. So you have a 2 emoji limit. Okay, we're going to a 2 emoji limit tonight. Grammy is riding the Blessed Express with us. Listen, you ain't blessed unless you on the Express. All right, you need a little bit of good luck. Jump on the good luck train tonight. Good things will come to you. I guarantee it. I put my name on it. So, you know, these kids could be inside the United States. So it's important that we bring this awareness to this case, so more and more people talk about it, because there's still a lot of people out here that don't know about Jack and Lily, right? There's still people out here that don't know about Sebastian Rogers or Summer Wells. So we're still steadily educating as we grow. The channel grows. Our reach grows globally, and I need you guys' help. And that's why I tell you so much to hit the like button, okay? Because it helps the algorithm pick up this video, and YouTube will end up showing it to more people, right? And the more people that see it, the better odds we have of somebody seeing something and saying something, or maybe holding the key to information we need in these cases. Okay, so it ain't like I just want to pressure you guys to like the video. It's because it does help. Okay, it absolutely helps new eyes see the video. So, you know, Canada's not treating this as an abduction. Right now, they're not treating it as the parents did anything. They're treating it as the kids got out and they've wandered off. But, you know, if that was the case, why would they be scaling down the searches? Why wouldn't they ask for the help of the public? Why didn't they issue an Amber Alert? I feel that, you know, some people out here are very confident in the Canadian Mounted Police, right? I probably said that all backwards. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police is what it is. The R, what is the R? I mess the letters up all the time. But they don't seem to think there's an abduction. They won't rule it out, but they don't think it is. They pretty much said the kids are not in the woods. And if they are in the woods, they're not in the RCMP. Thank you, guys. KT.
I felt so pressured to leave D and Ilum out. Choo choo.
Thank you, KT. Welcome to the Blessed Express. Come on board. All aboard. Get you a nice window seat. We got a long ride tonight. We're taking a little look at the woods. Okay, I got you guys. Royal Mounted Canadian Mounted Police. Okay. Hey, listen, just do your job and find these damn kids. We call them the Mounties. Okay, that sounds good. It's shorter. I just call them the Po-Po, 5-0, one time. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things we call the police here in America. Corrupt. Okay. There's a lot of things we call them. Call them the Po-Po. Okay, the Po-Po, the Mounted Po-Po. All right. You know, I haven't really seen a bunch of them on horses. Like, I don't know why they're called the Mounted Po-Po, but I don't know. You go figure. The damn cops, okay? 5-0. How do you turn on membership? You have to join, okay? There is one of my mods could post a join link, would be great. And you just click on that, you join up, and you become a member. And then you get a little membership badge. That's all you got to do, okay? Sometimes if you're on an iPhone, it don't give you a place to join. That's why my mods, if you're a good mod, every now and then post that join link for the iPhone so people on iPhones can join up. There you go. And from my understanding, guys, there is a lot of ticks and bugs in these woods. This guy that was out there searching, he said that he got bit by so many ticks that when he left his search, he literally had to go to the hospital because his hand was getting numb. But he believes it's from being bit by a tick. You get Lyme disease. Needle in a haystack, Dolly. Absolutely. Okay, I hate to keep pausing on you guys, but you know this.
Can I drive the train?
Can you drive the train? Yeah, you can drive the train, chicken pot pie. You can come up here and steer a little bit. Okay, just don't run us off the tracks. Just don't run us off the tracks. But welcome to the Blessed Express. Okay, choo-choo. Like, you know, the police did a good job of getting there quickly. And what I was saying is Lilly is a screamer. We seen that on her video, right? We seen how loud she could be. If these kids were in the woods that first day, as soon as it would have got dark, they would have started crying, screaming for help, right? They wouldn't have just kept walking in the dark. They would have got scared. Even me, I'm not walking through the woods at night, right? So these kids would have got scared. They'd have been out there screaming. Jack would have been crying. Somebody would have heard them, especially with the police being out there within 30 minutes. The Po-Po, Mounted Po-Po, right? They were there within 30 minutes, set up a perimeter that they believe these kids couldn't have got out of, and they didn't hear one sound. Okay, maybe it'd be a little hard to hear them with the helicopters and things like that, but you would have heard Lily. Okay, you would have definitely heard this little girl screaming. I mean, her pitch of her voice will literally shatter glass. So I never believed these kids were even in the woods for the first little bit, right? I just thought that was something that the parents came up with to be like, you know, either they wandered off, but right off the bat, the parents were trying to make excuses like the kids were abducted, right? They didn't even think the kids wandered off. And if your kids got out the back door, you would think first, hey, they're out here somewhere. Well, let's look for them. They were instantly screaming abduction. You know who else was doing that? Don Wells. Okay. Soon as Summer went missing, he didn't think Summer Wells was wandering through the woods. He instantly was saying, my daughter's been abducted. Why is that their first thought? And now, you know, so many people suspect Don and Candace Wells of covering up the disappearance of Summer Wells. Their statement is really similar to Don Wells, that these kids would talk to anybody, they would go with anybody, and they're screaming they've been abducted. Okay, they've been abducted. Check the airports, check the borders, right? Because they instantly wanted to take the focus off of them, I believe. Can you play the video of Lily screaming? Yes, I'd have to go back and find it. I have it in my my producer sent it to me, so I have it. I just got to go back and find it through a bunch of other videos. But right as of now, no arrests have been made. But I 100% think that focus now shifts to the criminal investigation side, and the parents have not been cleared. Okay. The police, the Popo, Canadian Mounties, right? They don't want internet speculation. They're saying it's kind of hurting the case, but, and you know, it's putting pressure on them. I think pressure on the police is a good thing, right? You should be able to perform under pressure. We got 570 likes. Okay, now y'all putting the pressure on me. Okay, now y'all putting the pressure on me. We got 11, almost 1,200 people in the room, and only half of you guys like the video. Okay, so I'm gonna need the other half of you to do me a solid, smash that like button, and you know the only thing it does for me is, like, I don't get paid by likes or nothing. It just spreads awareness. It helps spread the awareness of these missing kids and helps get this story out there. So if you want that to happen, guys, it's up to you. Like the video, okay? You can dislike my face if you want. You can dislike it too, but definitely pick one. Dislike it or like it, but make a choice, okay? Make a choice. So what's shocking to me is that they haven't pressured the family more. And look, so many of us think that these parents are responsible, or we suspect them, and the police don't like the pressure that they're under from the speculation and things like that, then they need to come out and clear some of that up. The Canadian Mounted Police, they don't have very much transparency. It seems that we have a little more transparency with the police here in the United States. I can understand and not saying anything that could jeopardize the case, right? I ain't saying that, but give us a little bit of something. Right. And, you know, on their website or their Facebook, they need to clear up some of this speculation. Dolly, you are choppy. Okay. I'm sure it'll adjust itself. Their inconsistencies are red flags. I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. This story has changed more than I can count. And we know this. Look, guys, the truth never changes. All right. Yeah. Thank you for joining. All right. We're on our road to 65,000. We're like 120 people away. So if you're out there watching, hit that zombie wave on the screen, sub up, help us hit 65,000. So that way, when I get to 100,000, you can be like, Dolly, I've been around since you was at 65,000 subscribers. Some of you guys have been around the whole time. So thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, right there. Good question. I got to pause it again. Why do the RCMP owe us any information because it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a village to find a child. And I'm part of that village. In Beach Bum, you're part of that village, right? And we pay the police through tax-paying money. That's why I believe that they owe us some answers, right? They owe I ain't saying they got to tell us everything. I'm not saying that. But they got to give us a little something. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I think they owe us that. If they want us out here spreading awareness and searching for the kid and doing the things that we do as sleuths, then you got to give us a little something. We're giving the police the exposure and exposing the family and the kids to the world that they're missing, okay? Because apparently Canadian media is not doing that. We want a little something in return. I know I do. I want some damn answers. I think a lot of people in here want answers. You going to do a bunch of giveaways at 65,000? I am. I've been thinking about giving away something really big to one YouTube subscriber that subs my channel. I think at the end of, at the end of August, I'm going to give away a brand new, and I've been thinking about this, what it was I was going to give away. I'm going to give away the new iPhone 16, okay? That's what I'm going to give away at the very end of August to one lucky sub on my channel. And all you got to do is, you ain't got to do anything. All you have to do is be a member here on this channel, and we're going to go through a random, it's like a random pick. So to go through all our subscribers and pick one. And if we pick you, I will contact you and I will send you a brand new iPhone 16. Okay. So that's what we're going to do as our giveaway, because I was going to spend some money to promote the channel through YouTube advertisements. And then I just thought, well, we'll do a giveaway for everybody that subs up. You know, that's all you have to do. You ain't got to leave comments. You ain't got to share. You ain't got to do none of that stuff. You just have to be a sub on our channel. And at the end of August, I'm giving away a brand new iPhone. Okay. So you guys are in the chat. You have to be a sub to be in my chat. So that means everybody that's in the chat right now, you're already entered to win that iPhone. You ain't got to do nothing else. Team Sebastian. Ah, we love you guys too. Thelma said, I donated to the travel fund on the earlier live. Thank you so much, Thelma. And if anybody donates to our traveling fund, more than just throwing stop signs, like I always tell you guys, because it don't alert me when you do that. So thank you, Thelma. Big virtual hugs to you. It helps a lot. It helped us do the stuff for Karen Reed and things like that. And we have a bunch of videos that are coming for you from our trip. I just ain't had time right yet because me and PJ have been working on t-shirts today, tumblers, trying to get out everything from Turtle Island, right? From the Turtle Island show that we were behind on. We've been trying to get all that stuff out because there's people waiting on orders, and we're sorry about the delay, guys. We had a lot of stuff going on here at the house, and then we went out of town. And, you know, everything, all our merch is made by us. T-shirts are printed by me. The soap is made by me. Body wash, lotions. PJ does the scent rollers, and she does all the packing and shipping. So remember, it's just two of us. So we get a little behind sometimes, and we're a little bit behind right now. But we're getting all the orders out. We've been working on that for like 4 hours tonight. Okay, I printed like 30-some shirts tonight. I printed like 15 tumblers, and I'm still working on stuff. I still have some of the stuff right here for the tumblers in front of me. I'm still working on things. So I'll be printing stuff all day tomorrow. We're trying to get out all the orders by the end of this week. So if you got a soap order, lotion, There is some shirts that we're waiting on, some of the graphics on the Turtle Island shirts. But as soon as that's in, we'll be able to print those, get them out to you. So be patient if you have an order with us, guys. All right. Or if you make an order, please be patient. We're not Amazon. Yes, there's been cases where 2 kids go missing. You love your Tumblr? Awesome. For the people asking, the new season of Turtle Island starts at the end of this month. So that's why we're trying to get all the stuff out, because we want all the stuff from last season to be out before we start the new season. All right. So yeah, we don't have 2-day prime shipping, because we make everything, package everything, ship everything. Thank you so much for your donation. So just be patient with us, guys. All right. And you're getting something handmade by us. So you're not getting something that's, made in China. Everything's made right here in the studio. We make some good stuff, Anna. You had to try it out. Thank you, love. We love Dolly Vision. We love you guys too. 7-month member. Phillips, thank you for your donation. Yes, guys. As you see on the screen, this terrain is really thick. Some of the trees, you got to break the branches to even get through. Grammy T says, I love the soap. Okay. Best soap in the world. Okay. Well, at least in North America that I know of. Best soap in the game. So you can check it out at buydollysoap.com, or I think they sell it right underneath my videos now. So you can click right down below the video. If you go under the video, it'll show you our merch store, our merch selection. We're out of stocking a lot of things, but we're restocking stuff. We're working on getting everything out right now. So thank you guys for the support and the love and buying my merch and liking the videos and all that good stuff. It all makes a difference, right? Every little bit helps. Yeah, guys, I don't believe these kids are out in these woods. I believe the police searched it the second time. Still have my moose soap. I saved it. There you go. The moose on the loose. Yeah. See, Canada? I said Canada. See, Canada? We already had moose soap. All right. We already had moose soap. So, which was named after Huntress. We call her the moose. Okay. The moose on the loose. So we named some soap after Huntress because, we were on a phase where we were just naming it after people. And we named some after Huntress. So, and it was the moose soap. Truth and Justice 7.0. Hi, Moose. Yes. Those kids are out there. They are buried. Now, if they're buried, they're going to be hard to find. And I truly believe that the parents had days to get rid of these children before they were reported missing. Now, I don't have any proof of that. That's just my opinion. Why didn't Lily go to school? She had a cough. Well, why didn't Jack go to school? Why not Friday? Why didn't they check on the kids to see if the kids were okay to go to school? Right. So since Lily didn't go to school, they wasn't going to send Jack. Somebody says, I think they were sold. Now we know the parents didn't have the best job and they were living in less than ideal conditions. I ain't gonna, listen, ain't nothing wrong with being poor. There's a lot of poor people in our country and other countries. But if you got love in your home, that's really all you need. Okay. You can live in a box. As long as there's love in that box, you're going to be fine. The problem is when you live in bad conditions and there's no love in the home, right? And I think these people, were young. They had 3 young kids crying, Lily screaming, Jack in diapers, and they couldn't handle it. They just couldn't handle it. And they found a way out. Now, what that way is, I don't know, but I believe that it has something to do with one of these family members. And Tony says, sweet tobacco is nice Dolly soap. Yes, I think we have some sweet tobacco in stock too. I don't really know what's in stock right now. You would have to check the website to see what we have. But we got,
Check out Cartoon Lily and Jack Adventures in the Woods and more online. Really creepy, the best for the children.
Check out Cartoon Lily and Jack's Adventures in the Woods and more online. Really creepy, the best for the children. Just reporting. Okay, I'll have to look into that. If you could send me a link to jimmyjam757@gmail.com. One of my mods could post my email. Shoot me over a link, just reporting, and maybe I'll pull that up here in just a minute. When I checked out Daniel's YouTube, it was a little weird by it, right? Because he's kind of like he kind of reminds me of a Stephen Stearns. If you know who that is, that was Maddie Soto's mom's boyfriend that was SAing her since she was, 6 years old, 8 years old? And it kind of gives me that vibe when these grown men are trying to be, you're trying to have kids watch you, right? Your main audience when you put out Pokemon stuff would be a younger audience. Now, me, I don't have nobody under 18 that even watches me unless they're watching with their parents. Ain't too many kids into true crime and missing kids. So my audience is, adults. Now, especially if you ain't a parent, but he is a parent. But at the time that he started this channel with Pokemon cards, he won't, because the videos are 5 years old. So 5 years ago, this man didn't have any kids. And he's marketing his YouTube channel to kids. All right. You got to remember, he has a 16-month-old daughter. Lily and Jack are not his. So 5 years ago, he was making videos on opening Pokemon cards with no kids. Okay. But marketing his channel to kids. I find that weird. I find it creepy. Okay. Now, if you're a parent and you're opening Pokemon cards with your kids and you're doing it on YouTube and it's like a father-son or father-daughter show, I could understand it, but that don't seem to be the case. So to me, it just comes off extra creepy. Perfectly good point, Dolly, as long as there's love. Yeah. Thank you for joining. We're on that road to 65,000. Let's see if we can hit it tonight. That is absolutely true. You can be poor, right? There's a lot of people that are poor and live their best lives and don't need a lot, right? Long as there's love. Like, here's the thing. You can live in a mansion. And if there's no love, that is not a home. It don't matter what the home looks like. If there's love, then there's home. That's a home. You can live in a $20 million mansion. If nobody gives a shit about you there, your parents don't care about you, they talk to you like you're dirt or shit, that ain't no home. That's a house. Okay? Yes, too, from a previous oh, that is right. I had forgot about that. You're right. He does have 2 kids from a previous relationship. You guys are right. So I was wrong about that. Okay. That didn't even cross my mind when I was thinking about it. Okay. So that makes it not quite as bad. You're right. He does have 2 kids in a previous relationship. I don't know how old them children are. Okay. But I know he started making videos 5 years ago. So, still a little creepy to me. Okay. It's still a little creepy to me. Now, if he's up there with his kids doing it, it may be not so creepy, but just him, and then you got his weird ass brother. I don't know. He may be a nice guy. I've heard good things about him, like, in the Facebook groups, people. I see. Okay. You seen a Facebook picture with the older kids in it. Okay. I've heard good things about Daniel. I mean, I could be completely wrong. That's why I say I'm suspicious of him. I have no proof of this, but he does still come off a little creepy to me. But that's just me. That don't mean he is. Yes, Dolly, it's creepy, right? Just my thoughts. It's just my opinion. So, most likely he's watching because, of course, if people were making videos about me and there was thousands of people watching them, I would definitely tune in to see what the hell people were saying about me. So I know he's been in the shadows watching, because a lot of these people, every case I've talked about, even from Leilani to Sebastian Rogers to Summer Wells to Michael Monkey Vaughn, always a family member has came into the room. Always. It'd be the father, the mother, you name it, whatever case I've talked about, a family member has always came into the room. So they do watch these things. So, you know, if he's watching thinking, hey, Dolly, I'm not like that, I give him my opportunity. Daniel, if you're watching, Malehya, if you're watching, send me an email, jimmyjam757@gmail.com. You're more than welcome to come up here and speak and say your side of the story, right? Like I said, I could be absolutely wrong about you, and I'm just seeing things from, you know, a true crime perspective, because I think everybody's a killer, right? Because I'm into true crime. I didn't think like that before, but these days I think everybody's guilty. Okay, that don't mean you are. It's just my opinion, and I'll give the platform to you to speak and plead with the people to get the case out there. If you believe these kids have been abducted, let us know. CC is a new member. Thank you, CC. But let's keep going. Bet you're feeling everybody's guilty. I mean, it just goes for miles like that, guys. You can see the terrain.
Kiss!
Oh, yeah.
Fuck is that?
Yes, he's yelling kids. Kids. Okay. So, I mean, it's any kids. He's looking for any kids in the woods, right? So if you out there and you're a kid, he's hoping you say, yeah. But look how thick it is. And it goes on for just miles and miles of wilderness. And it's thick. And I don't believe the kids, you know, went into these woods at all. So I think, you know, right now the police that did search these woods, I don't believe they thought the kids were in the woods. They just did it, you know, to dot their I's and cross their T's before they started this criminal investigation, and they started blaming family members or accusing or, you know, putting the pressure on the family. But now, with the kids not being in the woods, they're going to start putting more pressure on the family, or they should. You know, I don't know if it's the case. I really, like I said, I'm not from Canada. I seen somebody say, do some research, Dolly. I mean, I'm not from there. I don't know everything. That's why, you know, people from Canada have been calling in. They've been informing me of everything. Okay. So, but I base my opinion on experience of dealing with missing kids. Now, when you say do some research, Dolly, think about this. How many missing kids have you dealt with? How many killer parents have you spent time with? Now, I can tell you, Dolly spent a lot of time, right? With a lot of different families all over the damn country, from the East Coast to the West Coast, right? So I think I do plenty of research on missing kid cases, all right? Now, Canada, I'm not too familiar with because I'm American. I'm doing the best I can, okay? I'm doing the best I can, working with what I got, right? Working with what I got. Okay, guys, we're going to go back to this in a second. I want to jump over into this plunder video of dispatch audio. Okay. So this is just audio. So we're going to blow my video up. That way we ain't got to worry about no copyright strikes or anything like that. But Plunder's super awesome. If you ain't checked out her channel yet, definitely check out one of her channels. She's really good for submitting Freedom of Information Act for your request and getting transcripts, documents, dispatch audio, body cam footage. And I just want to listen to a little bit of this because it's saying the kids were seen in the bedroom at 8 o'clock this morning. They haven't been seen since then. I need to get down there, get a good statement, and figure stuff out. Okay, now here's the thing. The parents never said they seen the kids that morning in the original statements. It's like their statements keep changing. So let's take a little listen to this dispatch audio and what Plunder had to say on it.
They haven't been seen since then. I need to get a good statement and figure stuff out. Otherwise, what are the details? Have they been gone a long time? 0800.
For the family.
Pure exhaustion at this point. I mean, sadness just turns to anger because there's no answers. And I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get answers.
You know, if those kids are not in that bush, then what happened to them?
Martel has the same question and wants all resources exhausted.
Bring cadaver dogs. They search for anything they can find. I want as much as they can do.
Today.
Okay, so they did bring in cadaver dogs.
It fills me with a lot of hope seeing drones in the sky and seeing people back hard at work. This is absolutely heartbreaking, man. Heartbreaking, not just for me and malehya and the families, but it's heartbreaking for all Pictou County.
Okay, so I've been covering other cases, plenty of other cases, but I can't help still think every day about Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Where could they be? We know there was a big search for them. The search was scaled back, then it resumed. I'm like, what's happening? I'm checking every day for valid updates. Anything.
10 a.m. is when they reported the kids missing. They were last seen at 8 a.m. And then apparently they never said that before. See, this is inconsistent statements. Totally inconsistent of what they said originally. Remember, they said they woke up, they didn't check on the kids, right? They heard the kids, and then they didn't hear the kids. Leanne, thank you for becoming a member. That is awesome of you. They didn't hear the kids. They were in and out of sleep, and then they realized that the kids were gone, that they had slipped out the back door, and they didn't know. Then they said the kids that came into the room, and that Jack and them were in the kitchen, they could hear him, and then they didn't hear him, and they had slipped out the back door, and immediately he went looking for him. Now it's they seen him in the room at 8 o'clock. The story keeps changing. Okay, now if you've been following this from the beginning, and she was drifting in and out of sleep, right? If you've been following this from the very beginning of these kids going missing, you would know that their story is changing. Okay, every time they tell it, it's a little bit different. Or anytime we hear any dispatch audio comes out, it's different than what they originally said. The truth never changes. When you're telling the truth never changes. Their stories change like the wind, okay, like the weather. It's changing daily, it's changing. And then, of course, we got a mother that is not pleading and begging for the safe return of her child. Huge red flags. Huge red flags.
From the RCMP. But I have to remember cases in Canada where you just don't get much information. I remember Trina Hunt from the beginning, searching for information about this missing woman and not getting much info. And then 4 years later, charges were laid. Charges were laid against her husband, Ian Hunt. We kind of thought he was shady from the beginning, but again, I held my tongue. I was like, I'm not going to say much about what I'm feeling until we get more from authorities. Authorities know what they're doing. They have more clues and insider information than us. So since we haven't heard anything, I'm thinking, let's go back to the beginning. I believe this is what detectives do when it's a cold case. I am not saying that Jack and Lily's case would be a cold case. Authorities might not believe it's a cold case. They're still investigating. Again, they know a lot more than we know. But I went back to the beginning. And for me, that involved those first few critical hours of May 2nd. Early that morning, what was the first thing I heard on the dispatch audio?
Nicholas, go ahead here. Foster here. Just speaking with Glenn, are you able to authorize and start getting some search teams going to the Gairloch locations while we try and locate a GSAR commander?
Oh, on 601.
And I caught a few more things that previously I had kind of glossed over or even kind of totally missed. In this case, if you're not familiar, there is 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan. She's missing along with her brother, 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. They've been missing reportedly since May 2nd. Police received a 911 call from their mom saying that this young boy and this young girl had just wandered away from their home. It's a road in Canada in Nova Scotia called Gairloch Road. It's a lot of greenery, country, treacherous land out there. The nearest neighbor is definitely not just 100 feet away. I went back to the basics and, pulled down all that audio, raw audio from May 2nd again.
I'd read that call through SRCC there to get the helo headed that way.
Yeah, we just gave him the corrections. That's 1407 Gairloch Road in Lansdowne.
Copy that.
I pulled down, downloaded all that raw audio again, and I was surprised that the first mention of anything about this missing case was at 10:44 a.m. on May 2nd. Specifically, I was looking for all the instances of.
Now, somebody says they've heard that the stepdad failed the polygraph test. I know nothing about that. I mean, right now, just rumors. I haven't heard the police come out and say they failed, but I haven't heard him come out and say he's passed one either. Now, if he passed the polygraph, you can believe he's going to be out there saying, I passed the polygraph, right? Because everybody's been accusing him. And, maybe if he did take a polygraph and pass, it would kill down a little bit of the speculation. I don't think it would completely stop it, but it would slow it down a little bit, right? Because I would say if we took a vote right now, let's do this. If you believe that the mother and stepdad have something to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily, I want you to like this video. We got 1,300 people in the room right now, right? Like this video and then press 1 in the chat, but make sure you like the video first. If you believe these kids ran off, press 2. Let's just see where everybody's at right now. Okay. Like the video, press 1 if you think they're responsible. 2, the kids ran off. Let's see what 1,300 people seem to think about the case. Now, me, I'm going to press 1. I'm suspicious of the family. I believe somebody at that house knows something. Yeah. Thank you for joining, Patty. Be cool like Patty and sub up the channel. You guys are awesome. We could hit 65,000 people tonight. All I need is probably like 100 of you guys to sub up and we will make it. A lot of ones, almost all ones. Your number 470 like, awesome. So let's try to get that up there to 1,000. It helps in the algorithm. And I see a lot of ones in the chat. So I'm hoping all you guys at least hit the like button for me to let us know that, hey, these parents, are suspicious. And we need to bring awareness to this. And that's what the like button does. It just brings awareness. So if you want to bring awareness to this case and you want to help, all you have to do is like the video. That's it. Is there any active lodging sites? Now, here's the thing. There were some cabins in the woods, right? So, the dad said weird things, like the kids would go through the woods. The kids have been in the woods, that he'd walk them to these cabins and things like that. But I believe the cabins have been searched. He did say in that interview that they brought in cadaver dogs. So we had been curious about that whole thing. Was there cadaver dogs involved? But I believe, cadaver dogs need to be put in their vehicles. And a lot of people are skeptical about that four-wheeler, right? Maybe these kids were loaded on the back of that four-wheeler and drove deep into the woods. Thank you for subbing up. That's one more person. Okay. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Sandy, I believe that says. It's hard to see. Sandy, thank you for joining. Be cool like Sandy. Hit that sub button. Help us reach 65 tonight. Thank you guys. Big virtual hugs to you. If you do, sub up the channel. But these kids ain't out in those woods, and somebody knows something, and the police need to put pressure on this family. I hate to say it, but they need to get them in separate rooms, get them talking as much as they can, because if these kids didn't run off and these kids haven't been abducted by a stranger, which, listen, how would a kidnapper just magically be in the middle of nowhere where two kids just happen to get out at a certain time and the kidnapper's just there? That's like the odds of that. You got better chances of winning the lottery, right? So I don't think these kids were abducted. I don't think these kids ran off into the woods. And then what does that leave, right? There's only three options here. There's only three. They ran away, they were abducted, or the parents did something to them. It looks like we can rule out ran away because they haven't been found. They searched by land, drones, horseback, four-wheelers, nothing. Them kids couldn't have got that far. Even the mother herself said that the kids couldn't have got that far into the woods. So if we rule out that and we say the chances of abduction is highly unlikely, all it leaves is the parents. They got some explaining to do. I mean, I know he comes off as a good guy. He seems like, from appearance, he don't seem like a bad guy. He seems like he overly cares a little bit, but he could be a super good stepdad, right? I don't know. There's really good step parents out there. And there's those nightmare step parents that end up, this ain't my kid, so let me abuse it type people. Christina, thank you for being a member. That is awesome. So I don't know which it is. I don't personally know Daniel or Malehya. And I don't think nobody's came into the room that personally know them. Now, a lot of their neighbors, people in their area from Pictou County have called in, and, we've gotten different things. Some people believe they're on drugs. Some people believe they're not. I mean, it's a mixed bag when it comes to who they are, but everybody that called in, everybody from Pictou County, they believe they have something to do with it. So their community. And now if you're from Pictou County and you disagree with me, when I open up the phone lines, you can call in and you can tell me. But most of the people I've spoke to from Pictou County, Nova Scotia, and one night, everybody from Nova Scotia called in, and all of them said the same thing, that they're suspicious of the parents. So, I'm just as suspicious as everybody else.
Of when 8 a.m. was mentioned. And surprisingly, I heard it mentioned once again twice. I started thinking about the context in which the 8 a.m. or 8 o'clock times were said. I feel like the first seeds of doubt were planted really early on in the minds of some up there who maybe just did not believe this story of this mom and stepdad, or maybe they just had a gut feeling like investigators or searchers often do.
How long does a body have to be unalive for them to pick up scent?
How long does a body have to be unalive for them to pick up scent? Not long at all. They can pick up just as soon as you die. From what my understanding, I'm not a dog handler or a dog expert. From my understanding, cadaver dogs, can pick up your scent as soon as you die. All right, because a lot of people they defecate and use the bathroom on themselves when they die. Your body kind of relaxes and all the stuff comes out of your body. They can pick up on that fairly quick, right? So you ain't got to be dead long, and a cadaver dog can pick it up, and they can smell. Like if you've been in that location dead, they can smell it for a long time too, right? So these cadaver dogs are usually pretty good at what they do. All right. But I'm not an expert in it, so I don't want to say something be completely wrong. But from my understanding, that is the case. I don't want to give you some information that ain't right. So you may want to, Google it or something like that. But from my understanding, they can pick up on it almost immediately.
This morning, and they haven't been seen since then. I need to get a good statement and figure stuff out.
I did catch a video recently of Daniel Martel, and for the first time I heard him say Malehya's name. Malehya, that's how he pronounces it. I'm going to listen.
I've been saying Malehya.
A lot of hope.
Malehya.
Seeing drones in the sky and seeing people back hard at work. This is absolutely heartbreaking, man. Heartbreaking, not just for me and Malehya.
So I was glad to hear Daniel say Malehya. Malehya's name.
Malehya. I've been calling her Malehya. My bad. It's Malehya. All right. I thought it was Malehya. So Malehya is how does he know? Because she cut off communication with him. She deleted him on Facebook. She put that she was single on Facebook. So how does he know what's going on with her if she don't have any communication with him? They're saying that the police said not to talk and not to associate with him, right? And she took the kid. So how does he know what the hell she's thinking? So I just want to touch on that. That's a red flag to me too. So it's almost like he's lying.
Name. So now we know how to
pronounce. But I mean, common sense would tell you if it's hard on her though, right? I would think it's hard on her too, and I don't even know her. But he don't have no contact with her, so I don't know. Just a little weird statement from him.
Her name. Daniel was saying how he felt about the search resuming. He said, it fills me with a lot of hope, seeing drones in the sky and seeing people back hard at work. This is absolutely heartbreaking, man. Heartbreaking, not just for me and Malehya and the families, but it's heartbreaking for all of Pictou County. He's commenting on how everyone is just latched on to Jack and Lilly, and we're just wondering all these days later, where could they be? But in listening to this dispatch again, slower, and I'll put it all at the end, the first few hours so you can hear it for yourself, I left a little bit more of the audio in this time. Previously, when I was pulling down all those files, I was looking for exact mentions of anything interesting about the children or, the search or the home or the stepdad or the mom. This time I left a little bit more in so you can hear more of it, the search, just how diligently those searchers searched. I mean, they had drones up pretty quickly. They had helicopters up. They were avoiding each other. They were doing a water search that first day. Some stuff I didn't really recognize, but I did notice those.
You say Plunder does a good job, but the angle of her camera is ridiculous. I mean, she does it a little different than most YouTubers, I guess. She kind of sits in a little spot in the corner of the video, and she does a lot of prayer in her videos too, where she encouragingly says a prayer. She's usually pretty hopeful in the missing cases. And one thing I like about Plunder is, unlike me, she don't get involved in drama at all. Every now and then, Dolly will get caught up battling with YouTubers saying stuff about them. You know what I'm saying? Plunder don't do that whatsoever. She sticks to just true crime, and does the best she can in researching and doing things like that. She don't do a whole lot of live stuff like me. When you making videos, you're less likely to have little mistakes like I do. Like I forgot that Daniel's son had kids from a previous relationship, right? So if I was making a video, somebody would have told me that, I would have edited that out of the video. So it's less likely to make mistakes when you're doing videos than when you just on the fly coming up here, unscripted, just from the heart, let's get it, right? So every now and then I'll say things that are not right. I like tonight. I said, it's a little weird that he ain't got no kids, and he did have kids, right? So, but thank you guys that fill me in and let me know. So my chat usually keeps me on point. If I don't know it, somebody usually fills me in pretty quickly, or my producer hits me and is like, hey, he does got kids, and then I correct my little errors as I go. But she does an awesome job. She does an awesome job. I get you don't like her camera angle. I can understand that. But really, she don't even have to show herself at all. I think her videos stand alone are good. Her information's good. That's the thing. Like, even though we ain't looking at her, the information's still valuable. She spends a lot of time, like I said, hours and hours of listening to these, like, these call logs and these transcripts, and like, I don't really have the patience to do that. So thank God she does it. Now I do have the patience to watch her video and get the information, and then know that information, because Plunder does all the hard work. Okay, so I'm appreciative of what she does for true crime.
First seeds of doubt about the situation of Jack and Lilly in Nova Scotia seemed to come about only 1 hour after we heard the first words on the dispatch audio attributed to the two missing children. So the first mention was at 10:44 a.m. That's the first one I could catch. Now, all this time, we've been told Malehya reported the children missing around 10 a.m.
Malehya. Okay. See, I called her. See what I mean? You make mistakes. She said it's Malehya, right? We just learned that from you, right? And then you messed it up, Plunder. So little mistakes happen, even with me, even with Plunder. You know what I'm saying? But I was calling her Malehya for the longest time. It's Malehya, according to Daniel, right? So just to make sure we don't mess her name up anymore. You may have to remind me. I may forget tomorrow.
a.m. And so hearing the first that I could catch, and I listened since, midnight to midnight, the first audio come in about 10:44 a.m.
Love the intro. Is that you singing, Jimmy? No, that's Motley Crue. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. It's not Motley Crue.
Part of me is wondering, did Malehya call 911 around 10:30?
Malehya.
And then the dispatch went out, or was it even earlier? Was it at 10 a.m. exactly? There's a lot of confusion here, and it's making me wonder if it's just attributable to the haphazardness of responding to two young children missing in the woods, or is it because of other reasons?
We love your
and
channel
you'll see what I
style.
mean when we
You
talk
get the
more.
important info to us. That's what matters.
We love your channel style. You get the important info to us. That's what matters. Yeah. I mean, listen, if you're a YouTuber out there and you put out valuable information, I watch it, and especially if it's anything good. I hate when there's certain YouTubers that I believe are very trustworthy in their information. Like, if Plunder says it, I'm going to believe it. If Grizzly says it, I'm going to believe it. If you ain't them two chicks, I probably ain't going to believe you. There's people I like I seen somebody say they love the Deception Detective. I like that guy. I agree with a lot of the stuff he says. Okay. He almost has, I think we think on the same level. Okay. But he's a lawyer trained in deception, right? I'm an idiot that just knows deception. There's a big difference, but he says a lot of the things that I say. Okay. So usually when I'm like, okay, they're lying, he's like, they're lying. So sometimes, I can watch him and confirm the things I'm saying. Just like, that psychic that was saying similar things to me. So I know some people are on the same page of thinking that I'm on. And I believe I do a good job at reporting the information and come up in a silly way, in a fun, entertaining way. And some people they're super serious. Like Plunder's super serious. Like, you couldn't get a joke out her ass if you tried. Okay, like you ain't gonna get a laugh out of Plunder. Like, you watching Plunder, you're watching for some serious stuff, right? Grizzly, a little more lighthearted, but still real serious about what she does, right? To where me is, I bring you the same type of information, but with a little more clowning and joking around and playing a little bit more of a good time with it is my style. But everybody has their own style of stuff. But I appreciate these channels that just bring you information, because you know, I watch these channels myself, and I recommend that you guys tune into some of these channels. They give out really good information. There's a lot of channels out here that make up stuff. They present it as fact, and it's nowhere near that. And if you didn't know better, you would watch them not knowing that they're shitball people, and you would believe what they say, and so many people do. And I appreciate the channels that are legit. Okay, I'm not an all around. There's some people I don't like, but I'm not a hater. I believe there's some really, really good channels that I even look up to, right? These are the people that I look up to. Plunder, Grizzly, you know, Nancy Grace. A lot of people say, but she's an OG. Vinnie Politan, right? So when you're really good at what you do, I appreciate the effort that you put in. Okay.
More about these 8 a.m. times. Now, again, I don't know what time their mother, Malehya Brooks Murray, actually called 911. We're not privy to that info. You know, sometimes in the U.S., we get that info. The person called 911 exactly at whatever time. But here we didn't. I know one thing, Malehya has opened up her Facebook account, and the things we can see publicly so far show that Malehya was posting on Friday, May 2nd, the day they were missing, 2025 at 11:03 p.m., and she was angry. Now this.
Okay, I see somebody said Nancy Grace, LOL. I love the hell out some Nancy Grace. I like her eyebrows. I like how she is a boss bitch. I used to be scared of Nancy Grace. I thought she was crazy as hell, but I didn't have a true crime channel then. I didn't realize that. I just thought Nancy Grace was a mad woman, like she's mad about everything. But when you get into true crime, these cases are so horrible that you have to be like Nancy. You honestly do. And I went from being scared of Nancy to being a super big fan of Nancy. Not that Nancy gets everything right. Okay. Everybody don't always ain't batting 100, even Dolly, right? I'm 95.5%, but not always 100. Nancy's not always 100. Vinny right now, I've been totally disagreeing with Vinny, but still love Vinny. He's an OG. Court TV, right? And but you know, I have a different opinion than Vinny, but I would say he bats, you know, 95%. I think Nancy Grace bats 95%. There's that little 5% for error. Like Vinny right now, he believes Karen Reed is innocent. You can kind of tell. I disagree with that. But still, I appreciate, you know, he can't be right all the time. I still think Vinny is an OG. Nancy really cares about the victims. And listen, I've met Nancy. She is the sweetest lady. To see how mean she is on TV and to see how personable and lovable she is. Okay, I kicked my damn self off the channel. Hold on, let me share this video. Good Lord. Yeah, what I was saying was when you meet Nancy in person, she ain't quite like you see her on TV. When she ain't you ain't a baby killer. Nancy is really a sweet woman. Nice, polite, friendly, you know. But if you get on Nancy's, you know, radar and them eyebrows start going off, you know, Nancy can't, like, her face won't let her hide what she's thinking. Kind of like me, right? She can't, you can tell what Nancy's thinking. If you mute the TV and you watch Nancy Grace, you will know what Nancy is thinking without her even hearing what she says. She's a criminal slayer. Absolutely. She is a boss. People are scared to death of Nancy, right? It's, you know, you be talking to Nancy, she be writing shit down. I'm always thinking, what the hell is she writing? Right? Like she's like a court reporter. She's just like writing your shit down because she's going to come back and ask you something that has to do with that. And she's trying to catch you in a lie. Right? And you can tell by Nancy's facial expressions or eyebrows, you can tell exactly what she's thinking without even hearing her. That's what I like about Nancy.
This is what she posted. I want an Amber Alert for my children. All caps, you know, screaming. Exclamation point. I want my babies home. Another exclamation point. My children are not shy to strangers. That's another thing she's bringing up. My kids aren't shy to strangers and will go with anyone they don't understand. Stranger danger. Again, she's putting the onus on the children here. They will go with anyone. They don't understand stranger danger. At this point, they may have been taken. Another exclamation point. Please send an Amber Alert now.
Okay, let me ask you this. Well, whose fault is it if they don't understand stranger danger? As a parent, you can tell Nancy used to be a prosecutor. Absolutely. It's your job to teach your kids stranger danger. Okay. So if they'll go with anybody and they'll do all that, then you're failing. You get a failing grade as a parent. It's your responsibility as a parent to tell your kids, don't talk to strangers. Don't get in the car with strangers. Stranger danger. Don't take candy from strangers or Tom CPU in Boston, right? You don't take candy from any of those people. Apparently, for you guys that have been following the Karen Reed case in Boston, I guess that guy Tom that offered me some candy, I guess he must have offered a cop some candy because a cop snatched him up and shoved him out the way. And now he's, got a arm brace on trying to sue the police. You know how people are, right? Get the hell out of the way, old man. Stop being a weird cult leader. But you don't take candy. You don't mess with, you tell your kids to stay away from strangers. And she failed on that avenue. And I think this is her now. Wait, why didn't she post this in the beginning? Why is it just now? Well, no, she posted this May 2nd is what it says. Okay, May 2nd is when she posted this.
Exclamation point. I couldn't help but think of Peter Hyatt, and God rest his soul. He would have been examining this statement up and down and what his wisdom would have said about it. I don't know. I have to look at this. I have to look at people as innocent until proven guilty. Again, I'm not going to be one of these people. I haven't been going in on these parents, even though I might have.
Short Leg says, Dolly, they're very little kids with learning problems. Okay, now we don't know if they have learning problems. We just know they're possibly on the spectrum. Some children on the spectrum are really smart and pick up stuff really fast. We don't know the level of the spectrum they own. So, but, I think, stranger danger is one of those key things that we have to teach our kids. I think everybody as a parent in here would probably agree on me with that. If you're just telling your kid to be friendly with anybody, you're doing your child a disservice because there's crazy people in this world that will hurt your children.
Have my own feelings, my own opinions. I'm not going to be accused of harassing anyone or defaming anyone or slandering or libeling anyone.
Across the province, widespread speculation has returned.
Similar to what we dealt with on the Ehler case, there are a lot of online rumors that I'm noticing online. And a lot of accusations against the parents.
6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old.
Well, here's the thing about that. I don't know what's happening online from Canada, but America, we have the right to voice our opinion in this country. We have the right to our opinions. It's protected by the First Amendment. We have the right to speculate. We don't have the right to defame people, right? And I try not to do that myself. That's why I say these people are suspicious to me, not that they're guilty. Okay, if I was up here saying they were guilty of a crime they didn't commit, then I would be liable for slandering these people or defaming these people. That's why I say that this is satire. This is for entertainment. Don't take nothing here as fact, and that these people are suspect. You don't hear me blaming them for doing anything. Now, if you ask me my opinion and what I'm suspect of, I easily say it. But listen, the police in Canada need to worry more about who took these kids than what online sleuths are saying. Okay? Why worry about what people are saying on the internet? Worry about who done what to these kids and bring answers, right? Get the answers and find out what happened to these kids. And you ain't got to worry about what people say on the internet. America. Right? We have rights here to say these things. Now, you may be able to scare your Canadian citizens into not saying shit, but you're not going to do that to Americans. Right? You're not going to do. I ain't in Canada. Okay. I have the right to voice my opinion. I have the right to tell you if I believe somebody's suspect or not. I don't have the right to blame them and be wrong. I don't have the right to purposely lie on somebody. Okay. But other than that, we have the right to talk about these cases. We have the right to demand answers. We have the right to put the pressure on the police. We have all those rights. That's one good thing about America. You know what I'm saying? So do your job, bring answers, and then you don't got to worry about what people say.
Jack Sullivan were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station on May 2nd. A police investigation into the missing children is ongoing, but that hasn't deterred the public from launching an unofficial investigation of its own on sites like Facebook, Reddit, and X.
With respect to the spread of misinformation, inaccurate information, and speculation, I just want to say that's harmful. It's harmful to the families and communities who are trying to work their way through a traumatic event. And
okay, then tell me why everybody that's calling from Pictou County is suspicious of the family. Okay, why is that? Matter of fact, I want to open the phone lines up to my Nova Scotians, my people from Canada, right? Because I want to hear what your opinions are. So far, everybody that called in has suspected the parents. So I want to give you guys the opportunity, if you're from Nova Scotia or surrounding areas right there, to give your opinion tonight. Now, listen, guys, I take calls from everybody all the time. So if you're not from Canada, please don't call in. Okay, I'll talk to you in a little while. But if you're from Canada, I want to hear from you. I want to hear your opinions on this case. And if you think these parents are suspicious, right? Because my thing is this: more people from Canada are the ones saying it, just as many that have called in. I mean, one night, nothing but Canadians called in, and most of them were suspicious of the parents. So how much can it hurt a community if the whole damn community thinks that they had something to do with it? So this is the number to call in, my Canadian brothers and sisters: 757-797-6694. Now, if you ain't from Canada, just give it a little while. I'll take calls from everybody in just a little bit. But right now, I want to hear from people from Nova Scotia and the surrounding areas and territories around that. Okay. Go Canada, right? So, and I guess there's a lot of French Canadians not too far from there, because when the police did come out and give their update, they did it in English and they did it in, I guess, French. I guess it's the second language in Canada. They speak two languages. You have your French Canadians. Dolly and PJ Vision, love you both. Always on point with your content and your humor. Thank you so much. So the phone lines are open. The call-in numbers on the screen. If you Canadians don't want to talk tonight, then I'll open it up to everybody. But I'm gonna give y'all a few to try to get your calls in while we're playing this video.
And so I really want to encourage people to be kind.
There's a lot of information and the police have to follow up on every lead. But when a lot of it ends up being rumors, it's taking away from valid calls that they're getting and valid information that they would like to follow up on.
And the average social media sleuth could be risking far more than a slap on the wrist.
If it rises to the level of criminal harassment or threats, the police will certainly get involved and there can be criminal charges laid. On a civil side, the victims of these bullying posts do have some avenue to get justice. So they can file an action in Supreme Court for a cyber protection order, and a judge can order the people that are posting to stop, to take down posts, to remove groups from online, and even to the extent that, depending on the harm that is done, damages can be awarded against the offending party.
And for anyone who is experiencing cyberbullying or is worried about information that's circulating about themselves, they can reach out to Cyberscan to get supports with that.
Ella MacDonald, Global News.
I'm just giving the...
Dolly.
Hi, Dolly.
Hey.
This is Chelsea, and I'm from Canada.
Hey, Chelsea.
So I'm just listening to your show, and it's absolutely mind-boggling what they're saying, because they're trying to censor us so bad. It's crazy. But as for these parents and these kids, there's the RCMP are useless. We'll put it that way, and I'll say that as nicely as I possibly can. Those kids didn't go with anybody. They didn't run off into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
I am 100% believing those parents did something.
Yeah, and
either one of them, both of them, I don't know, but someone did something, and someone knows something.
I would have to say I agree with you in your opinion. I think the same way that, you know, if I gave them the opportunity that maybe these kids are in the woods, because, you know, anything's possible, even abduction. But when they didn't find the kids in the woods or no signs of the kids, I was thinking, this is something else. And somebody at that house, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I don't have any proof of this, and this ain't cyberbullying. This is just me discussing my opinion, because that's their big thing is cyberbullying in Canada. Somebody holds the answers there. Kids just don't vanish.
No, they don't. And when your story doesn't add up, you're telling 2 different stories, 3 different stories, and I'm sorry, like the mom just taking off, I understand there's grief, but no, like there's something going on there. Like, you know, when your gut tells you something is wrong, you just kind of have to, you know, go with that. And that's what it is. And the cops, they're not used to being held accountable or having to be accountable for what they're doing. So like people watching them and wanting answers, they don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah, I see that. You know, they've made more threats to internet sleuths than they have to the people that are responsible for taking off with these kids. Threaten them. That's who they should be threatening. Hey, when we catch you, your ass is going to pay. Right? Don't worry about why are you worried about what people on the internet are saying? Worry about these kids. Now, I get the cyberbullying thing. I wouldn't wish no harm on anybody, right? I don't wish them harm. If they're guilty, I want them to go to prison. But if they're innocent, you know, I want them to be prison, you know, to live their best life.
They just need to do their job.
Yes.
And focus on doing their job instead of focusing on what people on the internet are saying. Like but they do that all the time. And now we have a lot of issues going on with that. And that's
the bad
scary up here for us. But
the bad thing is this happened in Sebastian Rogers and the Summer Wells case a lot here in the States. People are hearing misinformation on the internet from some of these YouTubers that are notorious for putting out lies. And then they'll call in the tip line and give that tip as it's a fact. And then the police have to investigate everything and go through all these tips. And a lot of it's just bullshit that they heard online and people report it to the police. And that takes away a lot of time from everything else because you done submitted a bullshit lead. You shouldn't call the police unless you know something to be fact yourself, not something you heard on the internet.
100%.
And I think that's what's upsetting the police a lot, even here in the States, is they're getting thousands of calls from shit somebody heard on somebody else's channel that they didn't do any research or fact checking on, and people just think it's fact and they start calling the police.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you, I'm sure you did, Lori Daybell, and her missing children, like the amount of fake leads and everything that came in there, that was insane. People just running their mouths up, and those poor kids, right? But when you have parents that avoid answers and they you know, there's something a little bit off, normally it's for a reason.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that, like, there's something wrong there.
You know what was crazy?
I don't know what happened, but something happened.
What was crazy and what you just brought up was Lori Daybell defending herself in court. That was crazy. That was crazy to me. That's straight out of Ted Bundy's handbook, right? It was something else.
Insane.
You know, believe it or not, if she would have been a good person and went to law school, she might not have been a bad lawyer.
No, probably not, honestly.
You know, I think she might have made actually a pretty decent lawyer. When I watched her, I was kind of surprised that she represented herself. I mean, not great, but okay, considering she has no legal training. And she's
did better than others.
Yeah, and she's nuts. So I thought it was going to be just a total crazy fest. And she kind of held it together a little bit there. And I was kind of surprised by it. I know that's a little off topic, but it just kind of blew my mind when I was watching the court proceedings with her defending herself.
No, I agree.
And I think
I agree. It was nuts.
she picked a man over her kids. That's basically what it was. She can say they were demons and, all this spiritual stuff, but I just think she wanted to be with that man and she didn't want the kids.
Well, he told her nice things, so she was good with that. But yeah, like when you avoid talking about your kids and well, yeah, I mean, the stepdad, he's a little, yeah, I'm definitely getting, Stephen Stearns vibe.
Yes, that's what I said. It's a Stephen Stearns vibe. And, I pray to God.
Talking in a certain way. And
yeah, I pray to God that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? I hope something comes out and clears the parents. I honestly do, because I hate to see the parents.
I hope so.
I hate to see the parents involved, but right now they are suspicious. And when a kid goes missing, the first persons you have to clear is the parents.
Well, most times that's because it's, where it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think the cops should just focus on getting them and figuring out what's going on with them. And then if you find nothing on them, great, fine, release that. Then everybody can leave them alone.
Yeah.
And then you can focus on everything else.
Yes.
But until then, do your job, focus on the two people that were there with them and the people surrounding them. And if that's an issue, then okay, then do something about it. But
yeah,
to be bad at people talking online is just ridiculous.
Hey, well, look, I appreciate you calling us. You be good. Stay safe.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Peace. All right. So there you go. Somebody from Canada. We're going to leave the phone lines open for our Canadian brothers and sisters tonight because, they're saying, all this speculation in the community is back. They make it sound like the community's backing these people, but really their community is suspicious of them. And I mean, I ain't saying the whole community, because, we haven't talked to everybody in the community, but everybody that we have talked to that has called in from Pictou County or surrounding areas around there or suspicious. I ain't going to say they think the family did it, openly say that, but they believe that there's, somebody holds the answers and these kids are not in the woods and that there's foul play. So I think at that point, when you have so many thousands of people that see these red flags, you've got to hope and pray that the Canadian popo are seeing the same things that we're seeing, right? And they're trying to make sense of it. Now, they do know information that we don't know. The police do. And when you're not transparent, right, at all, it opens it up to speculation. Now, some speculation ain't that bad. And then some speculation is absolutely horrible. Some people say the worst. Like the other day, we heard a YouTube creator say that Sebastian Rogers was chopped up, dismembered, and thrown out like trash, right? That's pretty horrible speculation. You could have just said, hey, I believe they may have unalived these kids. You didn't have to go into graphic detail of how the parents chopped up a kid with no proof. Okay, no proof that they did these things. And if you think that, that's fine. You can tell people what you think, but you don't got to be so damn graphic with it. Okay, there's ways of saying that they're not graphic. Listen, I think the parents are suspect. I think they possibly could have unalived these kids and disposed of them. And then it don't sound so horrible as you saying they chopped the kid up, dismembered them, just thrown them out, the stepdad. And when, the police have said they vetted the parent and the parent was at work. So the person you're blaming wasn't even there. Right. So some people are a little more easy on the speculation than others. Right. Some people just instantly go to the worst of the worst. Now, I don't know if these people unalived these kids, took these kids. I just know somebody on the property most likely holds the answers in my mind. Dolly.
Hi, Dolly. I'm not sure if we're able to call in, but I'm from New York. I'm 2 hours away from Canada.
Okay, close enough.
And I just wanted to give my opinion on this, and this is all my opinion, and allegedly, I really feel that the police failed these children. I don't care if they what anybody said. They definitely should have did an Amber Alert. We would have done that here in the U.S. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the mother is really, really suspicious to me because the way her lack of emotion was. I'm a mother of one child. I would have been in tears on the floor, crying. And also, I don't believe that those kids ever went into the woods. The dogs would have smelled them in the woods. They weren't in those woods.
I don't think so
That
either.
scent left that driveway. And when it left that driveway, in my opinion, that's where they went. And I believe those parents may have had a couple of days prior to do something. I don't necessarily believe that they hurt the children on purpose. I think something may have happened, like an accident, and then they panicked and they drove the kids somewhere far out. And that's why the father kept, talking about get an Amber Alert, get an Amber Alert. And also, he was very, very into getting the lie detector test. Now, what I've heard about the mother as well, I don't know how true this is. I'm just, what I've heard is that the mother posted on her Facebook, she went from being in a relationship till single. Now, if that's true, I don't have her page. If that's true, that's very, very suspect to me, only because if you're looking for your child, even if you leave this man because you think he did something, that would be the last thing on my mind. I would not be on Facebook. I would not care about Facebook. That would be the last thing. So if these police can't put it together really quick, I really think that there is a big problem in Canada. And also, I want to thank you very much for the children that you do talk about, because I just started following you like 3 days ago.
Okay.
And I did not know anything about Sebastian or Summer Wells until I started following you. And I still don't know a lot about into their case. I have to look it up online. But I'm so glad that you cover this type of stuff, because it, like you said, once it dies down, it goes unnoticed. But you keep it coming. And all these YouTube people, they're doing it for money. And then when it dies down, they move on to something else. And I respect that so much. And I am a grizzly bear. I love Gisela.
Yeah, I like grizzly too.
Yeah. This situation is just so sad. To me, it's very, God forbid if they were abducted, it's just highly unlikely. And I'm a nurse as well. It's just doesn't seem like they would grab two children. Anybody wanting to kidnap somebody is in a panic. They want to hurry up. They want to get one kid. They're not going to sit there and try to get two because they're afraid of getting caught.
Yeah.
So my thing is that this is just not what it is. And I do believe they should have did the Amber Alert, because I feel those kids are way further away from where they're looking.
Yes, and I believe that any kid under the age of 10 years old and that's in extreme danger should have an Amber Alert. Now, when we get to teenagers, we know they run away and stay with their friends and things like that. Maybe not so dramatic when you get to the teenage years, but when you're like 10 and under 10, I think you're in extreme danger no matter what on your own, and an Amber Alert should be issued. They
absolutely
they act like it's an inconvenience to text somebody's phone, but it's
right.
not.
Why would you not do that? Possibly, if these kids were, if there was an Amber Alert put out, possibly if there was foul play, maybe they could find the kids way further up, than their area that they're checking, because I don't believe they're in that area at all. I believe, some people have said,
they could be in upstate New York right now.
Right. But I don't think they're here. I think they're there. I just think they're a lot further away from where they did the search.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. I think that they had plenty of time between, the time they called the police. If they wanted to take them away from that property, that they could have easily done it. But look, hey, I appreciate
the mother's emotions. Yeah, the mother's emotions tell it all. And it is me being a mother. her emotions tell it all. I'm sorry. And I hate to feel that way, and I hope I'm wrong, but it really does.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you. Nice to talk to you.
Okay, sweetheart. I'm a follower.
All right,
Talk to
peace.
you later.
Dolly.
Hey, Dolly, it's Lisa
Hey, Lisa. Where you calling from?
from Florida.
Florida.
Well, from Florida, yeah.
The
But I grew up.
the total opposite end of Canada. You grew up in Canada?
Yeah. Sorry, no, but I grew up on Lake Ontario.
Uh-huh.
And when I got my driver's license, I actually got lost and ended up in Canada before you needed a passport to get over there, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got lost. I was like 16 with a bunch of friends, and I got lost, and I ended up on the other side of the border. And they're like, "How'd you get over here?" And I said, "I don't know."
Sounds like a horror movie, the beginning of a horror movie.
But anyway, I think all of these children, I think they sold them.
Do you? Really?
I do. I think they have been sold. I think we're thinking back in the past when, there's an abductor, there's, all of this, like that was the scare thing. And the human trafficking is real.
Oh, absolutely. For sure.
I think those children were sold, and the only thing these people got buried is money.
Buried?
I think they buried the money, but they sold those children. That's what I think. I think they were sold.
It's just so hard to believe that. I mean, I see it all the time. People trying to sell their kids. I've seen plenty of arrests for people trying to sell their kids. It's just amazing that somebody would do that. Now, I don't know if that's the case with them, if they did or not. But, it looked like they were in a bad situation from my understanding. I could be wrong that neither one of them were working, that he was working part-time at like a wood mill or something like that. And, kids are expensive to feed, but, people are saying that they have really good government assistance in Canada. So if you are not working, that they help, food and finances a little bit more. So, and healthcare is free. So that's a good thing.
I don't know. I think we need to look more like, I think we think in the past, and in the past it was child abductors and all that. But I'm thinking the future is there's wackos that would love to get their hands on a little brother and sister. You know what I mean? Like, and they'll pay money to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Have you seen Sounds of Freedom?
I did not see that.
You need to
I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
It's a really good movie, and it goes over an FBI agent that saved over. It's true too. He saved over 300 kids out of sex trafficking, and at first he was just busting pedos. And then one cop said to him, he said, "Well, what are you really doing to help the kids? All you're doing is putting these people in jail, and they're just getting right back out, continuing to do what they do." He's like, "Well, what do you really do to help the kids?" So this guy decided that he was going to try to save this one kid, and he went undercover, and he ended up rescuing globally 300 kids.
Yeah.
So it's based on a true story, and they talk about how bad sex trafficking is as a global billion-dollar industry.
Yeah, that's the future of this crime stuff. And I just want to say with the police, okay, they're peacekeepers, right? Like their job is to keep the peace. So we're thinking, they need to solve this crime. I mean, they do hire detectives to do that, but the police, their whole job is just to keep the peace. They're not, they don't sit there and solve crimes. They're just trying to collect evidence, make a report, and keep the peace. That's it. That's all they do.
Okay. Well, look, hey, I appreciate you calling in.
Okay. Love you, Dolly. Bye.
Be good. Peace. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly. It's Sunshine and Shadows.
Hey, Sunshine and Shadows. Did you move to Canada? No, I'm just messing with you guys. Canada's kind of quiet tonight.
The funny thing is, I actually said something about moving to Canada recently. I was like, if things get any worse here, I'm moving to Canada, then this happens.
Everybody says that, but nobody ever moves to Canada.
Man,
you know how many people I heard say if Trump was the president, they were moving to Canada. Canada would be flooded with people, and I don't think that happened. So a lot of people say that.
The reality of the cost of a move that big would be
Yeah.
astronomical to me. So, anyways, Dolly, you are a hard man to get a hold of tonight.
Okay, sometimes it depends on what the topic is.
But anyways, so I haven't been following this case too much
Amber
because
Alert
I
is
haven't been
only
feeling
with
too great
confirmed
lately.
abduction.
Hold on.
RCMP should have done high-risk missing report through the alert ready text system, which is better emo.
Callie, thank you so much for your super chat. Sorry to cut you off, but these super chats get read out. So when you talking and it's talking, it's hard to make out the two. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's all good, Dolly. So anyways, I'm kind of like just now catching up with this case.
Mm-hmm.
And another caller might have touched on this a few minutes ago, but did I hear right that mom and boyfriend or whatever broke up after all this and mom posts on Facebook? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, that she was single, ready to mingle.
So, like, for one, what other people are saying, why are you out here worried about dating when your kids are missing?
Well, she was trying to be like Stella. She was trying to get her groove back.
But, well, Stella's got 2 kids missing.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it blows my mind that people are more concerned about something so silly and petty of fighting with your boyfriend than the concern of finding your missing children. You know, to me, that's a huge red flag. And there's been a lot of them in this case.
What good, worth having man's gonna want to date you when you out here trying to date and you got missing kids?
A man that don't want kids? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy. I mean,
and I'm like, why? Why would you break up with the boyfriend? Do you think he did something?
Well, yeah, he says that they're blaming him. The family's blaming him. So they think he did it. That's what it ain't just the internet. It's her family thinks he has something to do with it. So
and if she thinks he did something and she knows something enough to break up with him, why ain't she telling the cops?
I know. I said the same thing. That's one of the first things that came to my mind. If you think he did it, why ain't you telling the police why you're suspicious of him? You know, I'm up here telling people why I'm suspicious of him, but why ain't she telling the police why she's suspicious? Or maybe she is, and the police ain't said nothing. Because according to her, the police told her not to talk and not to have any communication with him, which don't make no sense. Usually the police don't tell you that. So I don't know.
If the police is telling her not to have no communication with him, they suspect him.
Allegedly. I don't know that for fact, but that's the rumors that are circulating. Yeah.
Man, this whole thing is like, what's with the trend of the lack of information being put out?
Well, apparently that's how Canadian police are. I guess usually they keep everything tight-lipped, and then at the end they put out a report of all the information. Is what people have told me. Okay. Some people spoke really highly of the mounted police, and some people spoke real poorly of them. You know, kind of like here in America, some people talk good about the cops and some people talk bad about the cops. It's been 50-50.
Cop everywhere. I mean, it's unfortunately there's so much bad publicity on police, and nobody trusts the good ones anyway.
Yes. Hey, but look, I appreciate you calling in.
All right, Dolly, holla at you.
All right, peace.
All right, peace.
Okay, somebody in the chat said T-Rev, ha ha. Well, you know, speaking of the little garden gnome T-Rev, he put out a rap track about me today. I listened to that thing and laughed my ass off, right? Like, maybe later tomorrow, I'll do a little video of, you know, laughing and joking the blood out of his little garden gnome looking ass, right? But tonight I want to stay on topic, and I'm not going to slay him like a dragon tonight. I'll wait till tomorrow, and when it ain't about little kids, and then I'll just tear him apart, okay? Because he's a little idiot and the worst rapper on the planet.
Will the movie about trafficking make me cry?
Will the movie about trafficking make me cry? Carrie A, I think it probably will. If you got a heart and you see the abuse that kids are going through, yeah, it'll probably make you cry. Some people say it's sad. I think the movie it's a good movie. I think it's uplifting that kids are being saved and that our country is taking the human trafficking epidemic seriously, way more serious than they were taking it before. Allegedly, I don't know, because then you got people that have them islands and P Diddy and different people that are hurting kids out here, and to hear that it's like $1 billion industry of the hurt children out there, and there's that many sickos in this world. It's uplifting and worrisome at the same time. Okay. Okay, we will look forward to tomorrow's show. Yes. A Dolly rap. Yeah, I guess he's trying to, he's all mad at Dolly. T-Rev, what are you talking about? I guess he's all mad that, his channel crumbled like fucking broke up cookie. I don't know. He basically sucks.
Hey Dolly, hope you're doing well.
Lori, thank you so much. You are driving the Dolly train tonight. 99.99. Dolly get to eat breakfast in the morning. Thank you, Lori. Board the train. You are on the Blessed Express. You're riding VIP with us. T-Reb's goofy Uber customer. Yes, but both kids. That's a stretch to me. Yeah, usually 2 kids. T-Rev did that all by itself. Yeah, well, he's mad, thinking, that I talk bad about him. I could care less about the little garden gnome. Okay. He's pretty much done on YouTube. And that has no doing with me. But if he wants me to nail a couple of nails in his coffin, I don't mind. I got a little bit of free time. Dude, I am going to burn him down tomorrow, right? I'm going to burn him up so bad tomorrow. I just don't want to do it tonight. So you guys, if you know who this clown is and you want to hear me joke the blood from him, the last time I went on him, I thought it was so brutal that I almost felt bad about what the things I had said. I was like, oh man, I done tore this dude apart. He's going through, he's jealousy is a hell of a thing, man. When somebody's jealous of you, and the bad thing about this is, when I say don't try to be Dolly at home in the beginning, this is a guy that tried to copy my format, the call-in show, true crime. I've been doing this for years, so he took my format, he started a channel, and he would fake calls. He would, every day, like he'd have one of the family members call, or he was having his friends call into the show. When the truth came out that he was doing that, everybody pretty much boycotted his channel, and he went from thousands of people watching him like I have here to nobody watching him. And for some reason, he thinks that's my fault, right? I don't know why, right? But he copied me, right? And this is why I say you may end up a DoorDash driver. Now he's doing DoorDash, and he can barely get 100 people in his chat room because everybody knows he's a fraud, right? So I don't script phone calls here. Rose from Virginia calls 1,000 times a night. If you know what I'm saying, that ain't scripted, right? So whoever calls here, right? We don't make up shit. We don't do none of that. And he was doing a bunch of fake and stuff, and you can tell the young man, he ain't too young. He's in his 30s. He's on drugs, right? And he's lost a bunch of weight and a bunch of teeth. Like, dude, before you rap about me, could you please put some dentures in? Right? I don't know if you on meth, but your teeth are. Okay, your teeth are definitely on meth, right? I don't know about you, bro. I don't know if you hitting the pipe, but your teeth are. All right, them bitches are gone. You and Seth Rogers are sucking on Malehya's titties. I don't know. I don't know, Michaela. Michaela, right? Like y'all both sharing a woman. I don't know. It's a little weird for me, but you'll get a little bit of that tomorrow. It's some Dolly joking, right? Because it's just me going to basically clown this guy a little bit tomorrow and make him cry. Like I'm good at making people cry. It's just I want to taste his tears, you know, but he did this to himself. I would never go after somebody that wasn't doing me wrong or saying
Blessed Express, heart hands emoji.
Thank you, Dolly Good 666. I'm not a bully, and sometimes this guy is easy work, and sometimes I feel like when I'm saying things about people that I'm bullying. I don't never really want to come off as a bully because it's too easy. Like he's a walking joke. Okay, it's almost sad, right? Like I almost feel bad about what I say. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, I'm gonna torch him a little bit tomorrow. We'll roast him over an open flame for a good hour tomorrow. And if you want some good comedy and some jokes, and tune in, right? Tune in, become a member. He came for you, Dolly. I don't know why, right? I don't understand that, right? Like, I always give people good advice. I told him when he was faking the phone calls, I said, listen, everybody makes mistakes. Apologize to your people. Own your mistakes. That's what grown-ups do. We make a mistake. We own that mistake. We apologize for it and tell our people, hey, look, I effed up. I'm going to try to do better. You know, I don't know what I was thinking. Damn, I had to pay the light bill, so I had to come up with something. He blamed it on everybody but himself. And he would never take responsibility for his actions. And that's how a kid does. A grown man takes responsibility for his actions. Nobody's perfect. I don't expect anybody to be perfect, right? And I hope y'all don't expect me to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, and then when I realize that, sometimes it's hard to see your own mistakes too. Sometimes people have to point those mistakes out to you because it's really harder to see your own mistakes when people are seeing it, right? Yeah, we're going to definitely WrestleMania razzle dazzle his ass tomorrow. But I wished him nothing but the best, and I thought I gave him solid advice to apologize and to be a responsible adult and tell his viewers that he would do better. But everybody, they jumped ship overnight. Like, hardly anybody, he destroyed his whole YouTube career. And, you know, we're both from the same area. So, you know, I felt bad for him, and I gave him solid advice. But he don't want to take the advice. He didn't take the advice, and now he's on the bottom, and he's mad at other people's success. So he's been saying F Dolly, making rap songs about me, riding around like a little Keebler elf, delivering cookies. How the fuck if I know, right? But you did it to yourself, little boy. Okay, you did it. You did that shit to yourself, and I don't want to give you too much time tonight, right? We done gave you enough airplay. I'll give you a little more tomorrow, but when I come in tomorrow, it's just to flame you. It's just to put that last nail in your coffin. And you're basically now on the internet, you're a locale. And if you don't know what a locale is, guys, people watch you to laugh at you, not laugh with you, but to laugh at you, right? And that's what I look at him like now is, dude, you're just a little locale. You're laughable. You're angry. You're mad. It's funny to people, right? Every time he says "fuck Dolly," I laugh. I think it's the funniest thing in the world. Because and then, you know, he tries to act like I was copying him, but this dude, he tried to be a Dolly clone, but he don't have that personality of me. You know what I'm saying? He don't have that personality. He has that grimy, dirty ass personality. Like he's a hood rat kind of personality. And like, listen, true crime don't really have space for that, right? Like, people want to see good people and decent human beings. They don't want to listen to fucking 5 rap albums to get the true crime. Okay, you got to listen to his shitty music, 37 songs. Oh, we're going to play this track, and you know, and then to get the some shit you lying about, right? So don't do it, people. Don't do it. His fake guest, enough said. Yes, absolutely. So we got to continue to, you know, to say prayers for Jack and Lily. I mean, there's that possibility, and I know it's slim, that these kids are out there, or the parents. I haven't heard anybody say this yet, that they hid the kids. Okay. You know, even in the Sebastian Rogers case, we heard people say, we think Chris and Katie hid Sebastian, right? There was really no reason to hide Sebastian, but we heard that a lot. We haven't heard that in this case, that Daniel and Malehya hid the kids. Everybody thinks they unalived the kids, right? Or they, you know, but what if they, or sold the kids? We've heard sold the kids, but we ain't heard nobody say they've hid the kids. What if it's like some media hoax, right? Well, there was a family, I believe it was Arizona or Texas a long time ago, and they had a big inflatable UFO. Okay. So they hid their kid, and they said it was a big helium balloon of a UFO that they had in their backyard. They called the police and said the kid got onto the UFO, and the UFO floated off because it was helium, right? It was a big, huge balloon, and the kid was flying through the fucking sky on a ship. Okay. A fake UFO. Does anybody remember that? Anybody remember that case? And basically what they did is they hid the kid in the attic. They hid the kid. And so they're scrambling fucking planes and helicopters to chase down this hot air balloon that was basically in the shape of a UFO. And come to find out, the parents had hid the kid in the attic, and it was just a big, huge media stunt. Right? Yeah, y'all remember that, right? Yeah, so yeah, it was national news. So is it, we haven't heard anything like that in this case, you know, like just rumors of it, like, you know, speculation. Like, did they hide the kid and they need some attention because they're in the middle of nowhere, and you know they're gonna magically find the kids, you know? But that would mean the kids were okay. You know, just like that case, the kid was okay. He was in the attic hiding, and they reported as he took off on a hot air balloon. I mean, it sounds insane, right? It absolutely sounds insane. But we live in an insane world where people do some of the weirdest shit ever, right? For attention. It wouldn't be the first case of a fake kidnapping or something like that. There's parents that reported kidnappings that wasn't kidnappings. They were hiding the kids, and then the kid pops up. So there's that possibility that it could be something, you know, like that, or, you know, but more people lean towards they believe something bad has happened to these children than anything else. I got time, I think, to take one more call. Let me open the phone lines back up, and then I'm probably going to get out of here close to Dolly.
Hey, Dolly. It's Carrie.
Hey,
from
Carrie.
Florida.
Hey, Carrie. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Not too bad. America.
I was like, that was so cool watching you guys in that freaking haunted house.
Oh, I'm going to try to get some of that video out from the haunted house this week. There was some
You got your Dr. Pepper and your Pepsi delivered.
Yeah. That's so. Who did you deliver the soda? Was it you that sent it?
No.
Oh,
Somebody
okay.
accidentally said Carrie, but it was, I think, a Carly or something.
Carly. Okay. Thank you, Carly. If Carly is out there watching that.
K-A-R. I don't know, but it wasn't me. But I was in chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was super nice of whoever sent me the
that was so cool.
The sodas to the haunted house. That was,
and that pink, that I was the one that was saying that homegirl was making Thanksgiving, pink hair chick.
Oh yeah, I remember the pink haired chick. She stayed in the third floor.
I was telling PJ in the chat, I was like, she's making Thanksgiving out there. Like, but anyway, so why I called in is I wanted to know, I haven't heard of this. Am I too loud, by the way?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Did the parents ever get did they ever get taken in and interrogated, or like,
yes.
you know?
Yes, for a short time. I mean, I heard that the stepfather was 4 hours. I don't know how long they spoke to the mother for, but they spoke with the stepfather for roughly around 4 hours. I don't know if they have done any more interviews with him, but I mean, they said they spoke with 35 people, which are community members and family. So they spoke with all the neighbors. They spoke with, I guess, everybody in the immediate family. They spoke with the school bus drivers, the teachers, things like that. And but they haven't released anything, of course, because they're keeping tight-lipped of what any of these people said. But right now, we're going on 3 weeks, and there hasn't been an arrest. But I think they're trying to make sure that these kids didn't run away before they start really putting the pressure on to the parents or whoever was at that house that day.
Right. And so, like, you remember in the Leonie and the cute little what was her son?
Quentin Simon.
Oh my God, he was the freaking cutest little boy ever. All of her interrogations and stuff came out in her trial.
Yeah.
So that's why I was wondering if any of that is going on and we just don't see it.
They went hard.
Quentin Simon was cute as shit.
Yeah, they went pretty hard. They went pretty hard on Leilani. I didn't realize they had interrogated her so many times, but they did. They interrogated her
until trial.
Yeah, they interrogated the shit out of her.
Shit out of her, as they should have. But I mean, but all of her colors showed in all of those interrogations.
Yeah.
If they didn't have those, I don't think that she would have. I mean, yeah, all the evidence was there, but I mean, the way that she acted and all of those different interviews,
her behavior. Her behavior is what got her convicted. As far as physical evidence against her, they didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
They didn't have much. They had that she threw something away in a dumpster. That's it. But other than that, they didn't have anything. A lot of shit they didn't even. A lot of stuff they didn't even test. I was kind of surprised by that. I was like, man, they really don't got much on Leilani.
A lot of it was like hearsay, to be honest.
I thought so too. And when I was sitting there in court. And because she didn't cry.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I was there for her sentencing when she got.
Damn.
Yeah, I went down there
watching her eat all those 5,000 mints.
Yeah, she was cookies. She was eating all kind of stuff, right? Because she was saying they didn't feed her before court, so she was eating in court. And oh, I gotta sneeze. But yeah, I was there when they, found her guilty, and she finally broke down and started crying. But she never cried for Quentin Simon. She only cried for herself when she knew she was going to prison.
It was disgusting. I watched that whole trial. Like, she was looking at photos of them sifting for days and days through, this landfill. No tears, no nothing. When they even blew it up on the screen.
Same thing with
sentencing date. A homegirl was.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Same thing with Megan Boswell, the girl that threw her baby in the trash in Tennessee. I went down to her court trial, and she was the same way. They were showing dead images of her baby, and she never broke a tear. When they sentenced her, she started to cry. Right?
That's weird.
You're crying for yourself, but you're not crying for your baby. How can you sit there and look at dead images of your child and show no emotion?
After autopsy, this, that, and the other.
Well, she had took.
You know what I mean?
It's the worst thing I ever seen in my life, and I was there for it. She took aluminum foil. And
are you talking about aluminum?
No, Megan Boswell. She took aluminum foil, wrapped it around the baby's head, stuck the baby in a trash bag, upside down, and stuffed him in the trash can, a little trash can, and then stuck another bag of trash on him. When they pulled this baby out, I don't want to be gross or anything like that, but his head was contorted. Like it was bent backwards. Like if you took your head and set it on your back of your shoulders, that's how the baby's head was. It was one of the horriblest things I've ever seen in my whole life. And this girl did not, I seen jury members crying. She didn't shed one tear or show no emotion. None. Zero.
So what do they do when the jury starts showing emotion and stuff? Does that?
There ain't nothing you can do. You're
human. Not all like Katoni or like, over there in freaking the Karen Reed case. Hopefully they don't just pull them all aside and shit.
I seen jury members cry in Megan Boswell. I also seen jury members, grown men, crying during Harmony Montgomery. when they brought out the cylinder.
Probably physically ill. Like
You can't
too,
help
you know?
it. You're human. Emotions, you can't
Yeah,
control the
yeah.
emotion. Even I was crying. I was like, I couldn't even.
Oh, yeah.
The
And then the parents are just sitting there.
just sitting there, just well, that was Kayla. That was his girlfriend, and she was in the car when Adam Montgomery beat Harmony Montgomery to death. But yeah, she was just sitting there too, emotionless. And I'm just like, this is horrible.
It's just like, to me, I'm not even a parent. I don't have a child or an offspring, but the fact that human was grown inside your body, and that that you could, but
okay. Well, look, I gotta get ready to
I'll
get
let
out
you
of
go.
here.
I just want to know if they were interviewed. But thank you. Have
All
a
right,
good night, guys.
you be good. Bye. All right, guys, I got to get ready to wrap it up. I got things to do in the morning. I got to be up and all that good stuff. So I'm going to get ready to get out of here. You guys have a great night. In the comment box, I want two things from you. I want you to shout out where you're watching from, not in the sidebar here comments, but when the video is over in the comment box, make sure y'all shout out where you're watching from. And also tell me what you think happened to these kids. And remember this, if nobody else loves you, Dolly does. Peace.